morning, Pat Winter here. Today I'd like to share with you my blue journal, which is mainly from the kit by G. Kerr, Happiness and Crafting, her Shabby Shades of Blue kit. And I waxed the front cover, which I made with Photoshop, and then I dyed some bridal lace and took it around to the back to use as a pocket, because I like to tuck in a little fold out just for the fun of it into each of my journals. So let's open it and see what's inside. Okay, the front cover has a belly band, which I embellished with some vintage dyed lace and a couple bits of ephemera, and I took a page from a vintage book and did the napkin decoupage and just put a piece of hand-dyed paper on the back and sewed around the edges. And this first page, you just flip that up, flip this down, and you've got a little writing space with some hand-dyed journaling paper and a postcard that's covered on the back so you can journal on it. And a little feather that I found at the beach, since it kind of took over, the birds took over this journal, so it's kind of a bird garden theme. Sometimes that happens. And on the pages I put little bits of bling and a postcard backed in hand-dyed paper and tucked in a postcard to journal on and some vintage lace placemat. And these little bees are from my porch prints. They're fussy cut, the bees and the birds pack, and I just tucked in a couple little things, little cards to journal on. And a little piece of vintage applique with a card to journal. And a belly band that you could write on, and an envelope. And inside is just a nice big piece of paper. I just love these. These pages are so pretty. Now my printer printed them a little brighter for some reason, so I just took some of the Vintage Photo Tim Holtz distress ink and just kind of went over all of the pages and all the ephemera that came with the kit, and it toned it down nicely because I like the vintage look. And this is just a glassine bag that I ran through the printer, put a little piece of lace on it, tucked in a card or a tag, and a piece of paper with a belly band, journaling space, another card with a belly band, and the other half of the glassine bag, a pretty page from the kit. This card has a tea bag. If any of you make your own tea bag or tea, you are probably familiar with these. You can get them on Amazon or your local Nature's Pantry, but you can tuck a little secret note in there or ticket stub or something with this pretty little butterfly that I just doubled 2 different sizes together, and a pocket with a journaling tag and just a little flip out. And the other part of the vintage doily with the double-sided paper to journal on. And uh-oh, he came loose somewhere, or else I didn't put him in, but he will go in there. And this is just a pocket with some vintage music, and in this pocket I tucked in some hand-dyed paper to write on, and made one of the little flat pens. More empty pages, and a little tuck pocket, a little belly band, another little pocket. Okay, that's going to go in later. A little belly band with some old fabric with the bird and a little dangly. Just another card to journal on. And these are just some scrap papers. Instead of tossing them, because they were odd sizes, I saved them and then put them together, just sew across the top and embellish for little notes. And you could either leave them in here and just jot notes or poems or thoughts on, or you can, use it as a notebook and rip the pages out or whatever. Heaven forbid. Anyway, that tucks into that pocket, and here's a little flip up. You can write a little secret note in there. A bookmark that you can journal on. And these are areas, because you can't write on the these pages because they're so decorative, so I just placed a couple butterflies that have lines on it that you could journal on. Another, I covered all the backs of the cards and stuff with papers so you could write on them, and then just sewed around all the edges. And this is a pocket in between two pages, and it just has a full-size sheet of paper to write a note on. A little pocket with a tag, and this is just folded paper to make 4 pockets, which I just tucked in these cute little tickets with a nice little poem inside with birds, of course. Some cheesecloth and some vintage French ruffled trim. Another pocket with a vintage mother of pearl button and a tag. And this is just, you flip over the little laced edge, and it's just a piece of paper that you could write on front and back. We'll take that out and put it in later. And a piece of lace that I had dyed and used as a tuck spot for a journaling card. And I added this not only because it's purple and I like to incorporate another color into my journals other than just one color. So I do purple and blue in this one. And I put this here so this wouldn't just flop out. It has a place to rest. And a little butterfly that has a little envelope with a little note inside, or paper for a note. And on the front I put a piece of scrap paper with a heart, so you can also jot a little memo to yourself in that. Vintage lace and tissue paper that I put lace over, or a sheer lace, embroidered lace, and I filled it with freshly dried lavender buds. So when you press on it, it just gives you that sweet lavender aroma. And a little bunny charm and a flip out, more space to journal. With a little between the page pocket, piece of bridal lace that I dyed and made a little booklet that you could journal on. I put this little tab down here to kind of tuck it into so it doesn't fall through the book. And another postcard to write on, just a piece of paper to journal. And this is a little a specimen slide that a friend taught me how to make, and it just has a piece of paper tucked in. And this is a flip out pocket. Plenty of journaling space. Another little postcard to write on. An actual empty page. More places to write. A belly band with a plain piece of paper. A little pocket. And this is a bag that a friend had made out of scrapbooking paper, and I finished it off and opened both ends so you can tuck tickets or receipts or just little notes to yourself in there. And this is just a little glassine bag that has a feather in it. And a paper clip. And I use the eggs as a tuck spot. Some vintage lace. I always use the vintage lace in my journals because I feel it's nice to give it a repurpose, the vintage lace. More journaling space, another vintage paper placemat, lace paper, and another card to journal. And these I just took a belly band and glued on the ends and in the center and used them just so you could tuck your little tags in it that you could write on. And edged them in the vintage lace. And this is a flip out. So you've got plenty of space to write. And this is the back cover that I just put a vintage dyed lace belly band with a pretty mother of pearl vintage button and an envelope that has paper in it, hand-dyed paper to write, and this little flip booklet. I just love that little cottage in the garden, like a little potting shed, or these days it could be a she shed, like in my garden. And you just flip it open and you can write all you want. And that's from the kit. And I like to use the jewelry clasps because I no longer fiddle around with jewelry making, so I have some clasps that I use and they hold it very well, especially if they're the exploding type of journals. Now on the back cover, I have this little fold out from G. Kerr as well. And I try to do these in all of the journals. Oop. So you've got a little pocket and another little pocket and a little envelope, and I believe I put some stickers in there, and a little notebook, and another pocket with a journaling card, and a little pocket over here with a little envelope. And you can keep your little secrets tucked away. And then it folds up, and on the back is another little envelope, and this has a little nest in it and a little sticker. And that is it. So, oh, I do have some bling on the side. I made a little wired nest with some eggs and a little bird, and a little charm out of the acrylic flowers, and a boho bead, and a tag that says listen, and just a bunch of little fibers and trims to finish it off. So I hope you enjoyed that. Until next time, take care. Bye.